Go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it, is the people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way, with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze frame.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Boys and girls, welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot tonight. I'm joined alongside my co-pilots. I have Mr. Green Bean to my this way in his fresh-looking hat, and Mr. O'Leary in his dope-looking t-shirt. Welcome to Talkin' Jets. Green Bean, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, look at him. I'm so soft and sulky tonight. You see that?
Ooh.
Oh, I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling all warm and cozy, Ryan.
Product placement. O'Leary, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good as well. I was wearing my sweatshirt before. I popped it off because my room was a little bit warm, so now I'm just in a t-shirt. But I was rocking the Talkin' Jets sweatshirt earlier today. So Green Bean and I could have been twinning, but it's very comfy. I know we're biased here, but it is a very, very comfortable sweatshirt. It's my favorite in my rotation.
So I don't know if you could see a little bit of pit stains. I actually had my sweatshirt on too. I took it off because my room also is a little warm. But I've got my snuggly pillow that I will be spooning with later tonight. Boys and girls, make sure you hit that like button on your way in here. Every 25 likes we get on this video, we're going to pick a t-shirt jersey qualifier at the end of this stream. And we're excited to have you in here. If you want to get into our giveaway for next week, all you got to do is leave a time-stamped comment down below this video after it airs, and you'll get entered into next week's giveaway as well. We got a bunch of stuff to get into. We've got some rule changes. We've got some league meeting news. We saw Woody. We saw Robert Saleh. We saw Joe Douglas talk to the media for the first time in a little bit here. So lots of things to get into. But before we do that, we do have an announcement that's been going on for a little bit. And you guys can buy tickets for the Jets, Talkin' Jets draft party, talkinjets.com. The last day to buy is going to be April 16th. So we got 3 weeks left. So if you guys are interested in going to that event with us, talkinjets.com, while supplies last. We're really excited about it. We're going to have a bunch. We got some really cool donations that came in for raffle giveaways. We got some prime tickets. Matt, you want to go into some of that?
Yes. So I had a few people reach out to me and were like, hey, I'm thinking about tickets. I'm like, well, we got to eventually let Main Event know how many crazy Jet fans are coming. So we have to set a cutoff date. But number two, officially secured. So we'll be raffling off winner's choice to either Dolphins or Patriots home game next year, whichever one they can make. And then the second game we're raffling off a pair of tickets to is NFC West, Rams Seahawks in the 100 level. So you're getting really nice seats. That I am very much so excited for, as well as, well, the open bar and the food, because why not stuff my face, drink some booze, watch the Jets make a draft pick, react with all you crazy loons. It's going to be a great day.
Tommy Tickets, thank you so much for the hookup, by the way. Very, very appreciative of that. And we are super excited. Got some other cool sponsors. We got some things going away. Tailgate Joe's hooking us up with some season tickets to tailgate stuff. Oh, we're just all sorts of excited. Got some jersey giveaway, things of that nature. Really looking forward to it. Green Bean's coming up. He's making the 7-hour trek from Virginia. Looking forward to seeing you.
You know, I stalk Tailgate Joe's Instagram page, and I get excited, you know, because I think we're going to hook up with him again this year for the game that we go to. And, dude, let me just tell you, Tailgate Joe is no joke. It's really food-centered. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of great tailgates and burgers and dogs and all that great, and that's all great, you know? Tailgate Joe is another level. Like, what they're doing, he's got his old Italian grandmother making, or not his mother, making meatballs and shit. Like, it's a whole family affair, and they take it very seriously. You ever see his paella tray? He makes paella one week. It's like Spanish night or whatever. And it's this huge pan with all the lobster and scallops. And it's an amazing thing. So we're going to be able to give away a Tailgate Joe tailgate package, whatever you want to call it. But if you haven't been, you're gonna love it, man. It's one of the best in the entire stadium parking lot, without question.
Oh, it was great. We had a blast at the Chargers game this past year, and he took good care of everyone there. Just a really good time. These runners going around, has the drinks always flowing. Really, really solid event that they put on. I see Blitzcrew in the chat throws in a comment, and this is something we actually did discuss as well. He says, can we buy raffle tickets even if we can't make the event? The answer to that is going to be yes. What we're going to do is during the live stream of the draft, if you send in a $20 super chat, we'll give you, I don't know, a certain amount of raffle tickets that we'll throw in, in the pot. Or maybe we do like a spin wheel. We could do like a Google spin wheel or something and like do that for the specific things. We'll work it out, but we're definitely going to do something where people could buy tickets if they're not actually going to be at the event. And then it's just a matter of us getting you whatever prize you wind up getting, for sure. And we're going to have some specific prizes that only the people that attend the event can actually get, because we want to make sure there's some special perks for all those guys as well.
Yeah.
And by the way, so shout out to the fiance Taylor. She's going to be running the raffles, but she is an auditor. Her client files in 2 days, so she's working her ass off. So one shout out to her. But number two is she's literally an auditor, so you know it's not going to be rigged. I don't want to hear any "it's rigged" in the comments, because she's going to be there. Going to have the tickets going. If you send in a super chat, we'll get you figured out. But yeah, it's going to be very, very organized. So that is a major, major plus.
We are super pumped on it. The crowd cam is going to be a blast. The reaction to everyone when we select Brock Bowers, people are going to lose their damn cool, and I can't wait for it. This has been like the most polarizing particular 10 pick that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, I guess you had a little bit of contention with like Sauce or Kayvon Thibodeau or maybe 𝐒𝐿𝐴𝐿 at that point in that draft. Maybe a little less contention at the 10 pick that same year, but like there is super polarizing. But we'll get into that. We'll get into all those conversations with the draft and whatnot in a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about the 𝐀𝐿 comes in with a very special love you guys. I've got an interesting story for yesterday.
I need to hear this one.
Yeah, so I'm doing the call-in show, right? And the first thing that I thought was really funny was this kid comes on and he hides himself, and I was like, all right, we're introducing Billy or whatever. And Billy comes on, and he comes running into what I think is a bathroom, and he's pouring Pepsi on his head and like eating a potato raw, like not mashed potatoes, nothing like biting into a potato and just going, oh. And I think he expected me to eject him right away, but I was like, dude, I'm not ejecting you. I'm going to let this continue, and I'm going to let you finish pouring that soda on your head before I eject you, because I'm enjoying this too much. So that, very fun. Second thing, someone came on and put some porn on the screen. I was not too appreciative of that, because I had to report you to the authorities, because that is me distributing, potential porn out to the masses. So I made the video private, and guess what? Someone's going to get a knock on their door in probably a month or two. Yeah.
The YouTube police.
Oh yeah, I'm not taking the fall for that. No friggin' way. No shot.
It's funny, man, because like that's why I stopped doing it. I was doing that a couple years ago, just like opening the phone lines, and every time I did it, you know what would happen to me every time, and there'd be different faces, there'd be different people, so I wouldn't know who was who. They would play like the Lion King, always the same. It was like no matter who it was, they would play a clip of the Lion King, and then it would go into the most grotesque, hardcore, like just despicable porn you ever saw. And what I called Jake Assman one time. I'm like, hey, how do you like filter that? And he goes, filter what? I'm like, all the porn and shit. And he goes, for real?
He's been lucky enough not to get it.
I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I've never dealt with that. Now I'm like, I deal with it every time. So that's why I'm so hesitant to even do that. Every now and then I go, I'm going to open the phone lines, man. Be cool. But it's, I don't want to say congratulations, welcome to the club, but misery does love company. So at least it's not just me. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you after the fact how to report the IP address that it comes from. It's definitely,
That's what I need.
That will be good and fun. But 𝐀𝐿, you're giving me PTSD from last night. If you guys were in the chat, you probably understand what went on. All right. So let's get into this. League meeting comments. We got to see Woody Johnson, Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh give some comments yesterday. First time we've heard from them since the NFL honors, or at least Woody since the NFL honors. I don't know when we heard from Saleh and Douglas last, but we heard some interesting things. Like Mike Williams not being ready for the start of training camp definitely gave me a little bit of like not great feelings for wide receiver 2 right now. And I'll say this, it just makes sense, right? Like he got hurt, I think week 3 or week 4, which is roughly around the same timeline that Brees had too. And we slow rolled Brees into the season. Now he did start week 1, obviously, but didn't have any training camp. And I would argue that receivers probably got to have a little bit more, like chemistry with the quarterback as opposed to a running back that's really, kind of, hey, I'm going to have to run through this hole. And if it's there, then you run through it. And I'm probably oversimplifying that a bit, but so I think weapon is still a little bit of a concern, at least immediately at the beginning part of the season. Trying to think of some other comments that went down. Green Bean, I'll throw it to you first. Was there any comment that stuck out to you specifically? The Woody comment about Zach and like not trading him, I feel like is like Homer Simpson backing into the hedges a little bit, like trying to walk back his NFL honors comments.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be great if he just shut up already?
Thank you. Yes.
Where's my button? Boom. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot there actually. You hate to like. I just hate the idea that like Woody, steamrolls football guys. Like, a lot of fans out there believe that Woody, he's the common denominator throughout most of the suctitude of late. I mean, the thing is, those are a lot of people that say that are younger fans. They don't realize that we sucked when Woody bought the team. I mean, we had 3 years of Parcells, but before that, the reason Parcells was here is because we were the worst team in the NFL. We had 4 wins in 2 years under Kotite, and you know what I mean? So you don't remember. It's not Woody's fault, but there is a common denominator. No matter who we get in here, it seems to be kind of dysfunctional, and Woody is constantly saying weird shit and wearing weird necklaces and Swifty, and it's like it's all the weird stuff. So I hate the idea that like Joe Douglas would want to make a move, like we got a trade offer. And, he can, we have to eat half the contract, whatever it might be, but we get a 6th round pick and you can wash your hands. And Woody steps in and goes, not enough. We want a 2nd or we keep him or some, man, that's how I see it. I don't know. But I just hate to think that he's doing that. And I wish that he would just shut up and like, he's just a gold mine for reporters. Like they see Woody like, oh, there he is. Go get him. They know he's going to say some crazy shit. The last one was the Rocks. And what do we need? A wide receiver, a guard, another guard, a couple tackles. That's all we need on offense. Like he just says the craziest things. And I just wish he would shut up. Like to me, that's the big one. Saleh said some stuff, but to me, the Woody shit stands out front, and I find myself bristling whenever he speaks anymore.
I feel like the NFL has become like billionaire Facebook or like something like that, where it's like, okay, we've got like, there's only 31 people on this social media platform, and they're all going to say really dumb shit all the time, and like super frustrating. Matt.
Yeah, nobody can do anything because they're billionaires.
Yeah, it's like, I own the team. I don't care. I'm not going to sell it because it's the greatest investment ever. I'm part of the club. I don't know. Matt, what were your thoughts about the comments that were made yesterday?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off Green Bean and get more into Woody Johnson, because that one was really bad. The Zach Wilson stuff was because 6 weeks ago he said he was like, I don't know, allegedly maybe half in the bag, saying that we didn't have a backup quarterback last year on the roster, and now he's an asset. Please give me something in return for this guy. But what bothered me more was him talking about raising the season ticket prices, and he's like, well, the cost of business is going up, so we got to raise this ticket prices. I feel absolutely zero sympathy for him and in his cost of doing business and raising the prices, because the Jets season ticket holders, and I'm not one of them, I probably won't be unless he ever sold, but it's not my thing. But anyway, they get treated like absolute dog water. Like all these other organizations have like this beautiful stadium to go to. The Jets have an air conditioner in swampland, and they get like a yearbook and a printout letter from Woody Johnson as like their season ticket package.
Do you see what the Raiders did? They had that beautiful case, and
right. Yeah, there's so many other teams around the league that like they really give their it's like exclusive club, and you feel like, hey, I'm a season ticket holder. I get these nice perks, and like before the season, I get like, I don't know, this hologram pops out and presents me my season tickets, and like Woody Johnson prints out 2,000 letters and sends them in an envelope, and you get your printout tickets that way. And he at a yearbook. I toss him a yearbook for what do we got to eat on that? $8 $8 a book? Sure, toss him the book on that too. I really do feel for the Jets season ticket holders because they get bent over the barrel so bad from this organization. And plus, on top of all this, the Jets, I don't know if you guys know, they haven't made the playoffs in 13 years. So on top of all these other things too, and the prices keep going up.
Yeah, it's like, hey, in what other industry can you have such horrible service? I shouldn't say horrible service because the staff that works there, great staff, haven't had any issues with that. But the product. The product on the field, like if you had this terrible of a product consistently for over a decade, that's why it's a printing press. They're just making money hand over fist. Really frustrating to see. And not to mention they just jacked up rates. They were like, okay, normally season ticket holders, they knew they were going to get Rodgers. Like, we got to lock you in for 2 years, like last year. We're going to lock you in for new season ticket holders, 2-year lock-in. Oh, and then guess what? We're going to make you pay in November for your season tickets instead of February or March like we normally do. So now you're, right before the holiday season, we're going to squeeze you of every last nickel in the middle of like a beat your brains in type of season for year 3 of Zach Wilson. Just really, doesn't know how to read the room. But whatever. The other comments I thought were interesting. I feel like I'm trying to think what other ones with Salah. Actually, you know what? I can actually look at my notes. I made notes on this one. The injuries, less of a concern on the offensive line because of how many players got to see playing time last year. I thought that was an interesting comment from Salah. Carter Warren, they feel good about him. He did an admirable job, lots of promise. Read into that what you will. I do like him as an heir apparent to one of the tackle positions. Thought that was interesting. He talked about Clowney, the more the merrier with pass rushers. Obviously, we haven't heard, I don't think we've heard anything on that as of right now. The AVT thing, it's a gift and a curse with his positional flexibility. They want to keep him at one position, and he says it's right guard right now. I think that could potentially shift depending on how things shake out after the draft. Do they want to move him to a different spot? Morgan Moses is only getting paid $5.5 million. That could absolutely be backup money if they wanted to do that. Yeah. The running back room, the safety room, I think he said the wide receiver room too, if I'm not mistaken. There's more work to be done there, so I would expect something either during the draft or following the draft. Adding to that, he was asked Hardman question twice, didn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. No more senior advisor coming on. Downing is the de facto quarterback coach at this point. Don't know how much I really love that. He said they want to add another quarterback. We want to go into camp with 3 or 4 guys. And I think that was sort of him catching himself saying 3 guys and being like, ooh, I got to say 4 guys because Zach's still on the roster and we're adding a guy. It's like one of those sorts of things. So I don't know. Anything that I've just brought up there, Green Bean, I kind of vomited a lot of words right there. Anything that you wanted to address of those particular comments?
I'm going to shoot real straight with you, Ryan.
You weren't paying attention.
I wasn't. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I don't love you, respect you, and have high levels of interest in 90% of the things you say. I just stumbled on something with Matt O'Leary's face on Twitter, and I went, wait, what is that? And I just got sucked in, and then
I can't wait.
Yeah,
what is it?
No, it's nothing. But it's just I saw Matt's face, so I just got distracted.
Would you see him tweet and you looked at his face, or was it actually like, a picture?
Someone memeing me?
Yeah, I want to see this.
There was a tweet using Matt's.
Oh, okay. I know. Okay.
You know the one?
Yep.
I just saw it. I didn't hear it. I didn't read it. I saw it. I was like,
chat, if you don't know what it is, I don't either. So it's okay.
Yeah. But I don't know what it is either. I just saw it. And then you asked me a question. I was like, shit, my pants are down.
Got him.
So what'd you say?
I said a whole lot of words. About Robert Saleh said. Matt, did you hear anything I said? And is there anything you want to comment on that?
I know what Robert Saleh said.
I'm going to go to Matt first.
Yeah,
sorry,
you should.
Green. You skipped your chance in line. You know what? Hold on. I got it. Wait, hold on. I want to hit this. Where's my
guy's an idiot.
Oh. My favorite Robert Saleh quote was something that you didn't bring up, but I would like to talk about, which is when he said that he wouldn't say that it's playoffs or bust, but then eventually walked it back to saying that, yeah, it's probably fair to say that a coach in his fourth year has to win. I'm glad that's eventually where he got to, but when I was watching the press conference live and he was like, I wouldn't say it's a playoff or bust season, irked me slightly. But then I started to think about it, like, I almost see his side in a way. I'm going to play devil's advocate for him, because if like something did happen, then Woody Johnson, if they missed the playoffs, Woody Johnson's going to go, well, I'm going to go back to March 25th when you said it's playoffs or bust and we missed the playoffs. So I guess you're out of a job. And like, I mean, he's probably getting fired if they miss the playoffs anyway, but I don't know if he wants to black and white say that, which I'm not going to crush him for. But again, I'm glad we eventually got to the point of it's time to win. We have to win football games.
Yeah, I think no, you wait your turn, Green Bean.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
No, so to the comments of, I don't know if it, it's super, playoffs or bust. I think some of that almost comes off as just coach speak, and it's like, hey, I got this generic line. This is the thing to say. And then I think you're right. I think he kind of caught it, walked himself back a little bit. I love the little clip, and I'm sure we'll see it over and over and over again of the like, we all suck. I suck. Joe D sucks. We're all losers. Whatever it was. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought that was quite comical, and I thought he was pretty self-aware as to how Jet fans feel right now, and where their emotions may be coming from. Green Bean, your thoughts?
I mean, he's got to know better than that. You can't say that shit, man, and not expect it to be a meme. It's for until you win. That's going to be floating around for a long time, that clip. But here's an interesting one. Do you guys remember the King of Strain? Do you guys remember who that was on our team?
The King of what?
Strain.
Strain. I don't. I have no idea.
You don't remember, Matt? Do you remember the King of Strain?
The King of Strain, no.
Per Robert Saleh, the King of Strain on the New York Jets was Nathan Shepard. So there it is. Scarcity's nailed it. Nathan, GVH, and John. Oh no, not John. John, you're wrong. Everybody else is right. So in that diatribe, he threw out another. We have a new King of Strain. He slid it in there. Nobody's talking about it. I actually meant to put it in the Jets pod this week, but I don't know why. I just flew right past it, and I had it pulled. But here's the comment. So he goes, all right, Tyron Smith has played at a very high level for a long time, and Jonathan Simpson at guard, I mean, he's like the definition of strain. So here we go. Robert Saleh got his definition of strain. He's been hurting. There's been a vacuum in his life since Nathan Shepard has been gone. He now has a new King of Strain in Jonathan Simpson, everybody. So that's nice to know, isn't it? Robert Saleh's now complete, everybody.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I didn't catch Joe Douglas's comments. I saw little clips of it, but there was nothing that really like stood out above the rest. Like I saw he kind of chuckled at the Sauce GM comments and some of that stuff. The photo that Zach Rosenblatt took of Joe Douglas, by the way, did you guys see that one? His head was like squished inward. Super awkward, clunky photo. That's really all I got. Matt, did you hear anything from Joe Douglas that kind of perked your ears up at all?
Yes. He admitted two things really. One, he admitted a mistake letting Morgan Moses walk. He said that was probably a mistake, letting him leave after 2021.
Saying he should have cut Becton then? Because that was the whole thing, right? Like it was Becton was going to compete with Moses. So that's probably what that would imply. Or cutting Fant, I guess.
Well, no, they wouldn't have cut him. That's the year that Becton came back and got hurt for a second year in a row.
No, I know, but Moses wanted to start, and we wanted him to compete with Becton.
Well, they could have made George Fant compete for the spot with Becton then, even technically.
Sure, they would have had to guarantee him the starting spot. That's more what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, which I guess then could maybe go down the rabbit hole of what did that mean for Mekhi Becton. But he did say that it was probably a mistake to let him leave. But then also Rich Samini tried to weasel in, ask him about taking a tight end in the top 10. And he was like, I'm not going to say any names, but we all know who I'm talking about. And then I found his answer very interesting. He's like, we'll take any player that could help the Jets, and that somehow got spun into the Jets are considering taking a quarterback and all these crazy things. But yeah, I don't think Joe Douglas really gave away a lot of information, which is pretty on par for what he normally does in these. He doesn't give much in these press conferences.
Yeah, no, it's hard to kind of read through some of the coach or GM speak and filter out what they may have meant and how much of it is a smokescreen heading into the draft, because you never know what to expect right now. And it's really fascinating. We also heard about, I guess, do we want to talk a little bit about some of the rumors of the draft and what we think might happen, and then go into the rules, or do we want to go into the rule changes first and then?
Sure. Yeah, whatever
something
you
that I
feel
thought
the flow is going. You know?
Yeah, so something I didn't build a little cue card for this, so I apologize for the topic not being there. But do I have a draft strategy one? Is that what this is? All right, yeah, we'll go with this one. Yeah, see, that's close enough. I don't know why quarterback's in there. That must have been a while ago, but we'll leave that in there. Why not? The draft strategy for the New York Jets at number 10 and how the teams in front of us could impact it, and it's fascinating to me because as I start going through these different things, like obviously the Vikings made a trade. They now have pick 11 and pick 23. They have the most ammo of any of the teams in the draft to move up to go get a quarterback that they want. And the teams I'm kind of looking at, I'm looking at the Giants at 6. I'm looking at the Vikings at 11. I'm looking at the Broncos at 12, and then the Raiders at 13. And to a lesser extent, you could say maybe the Saints at 14, the Seahawks maybe at 16. But I feel like that might be a little bit too far back. And they all have starters in place. Like the Broncos don't have another starter. Not really. They got Jared Stidham, and they don't have a second-round pick. So it's not like they can trade up to the back of the second to get a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix. So I think they might be forced to take a quarterback. And with the Raiders knowing that and being a division rival, the Raiders have every incentive to leapfrog the Broncos to, either get the quarterback they want or kind of, steal the quarterback that the Broncos might want. And then I'm thinking like, okay, where do the Vikings have to get up to get a quarterback? The Vikings are sitting at 11 and 23. And if they like, one of the top 4 quarterbacks, they're going to have to get in front of the Giants because the Giants could definitely take a quarterback at 6. Yeah. And if you're playing that game, it's like, okay, well, they can get to 5. All right, well, what do the Cardinals do? The Cardinals are more than likely going to take a wide receiver. But if they're willing to trade out, that means the Vikings now have to come up to number 4 because the Broncos and the Raiders can't trade with their division rival Chargers at number 5. They have to overpay and get to 4 or above. So I really think
it's not an overpay. It's not an overpay to get to 4.
It is. Well, the Vikings can get up to 4 because they have the assets. They can use 11, 23, and a 2025 first. In order for the Broncos or the Raiders to beat them, they have to really go over the top. So, like, if they want to beat, unless the Vikings get up into the top 3 and then 4 or 5 opens up for like a lower price. But again, they can't trade with the Chargers more than likely because the division rival. So, like, the Broncos and Raiders are kind of held over a barrel where the Giants could convince one of these top few teams to still get a blue chip prospect at 6, and the Vikings have the the ability to, you're going to get a top 10 player at a non-quarterback position plus pick 23. So it's interesting to me how this could all sort of play out. Matt, I want to go to you first. When you're looking at the teams kind of in front of the Jets and how the quarterbacks might play into this, I feel like we're not going to be able to convince QB5 or convince a team that QB5 is valuable enough to come up to number 10. And that's where it sort of impacts us a little bit. What are your thoughts inside the top 10 and where these quarterbacks and teams might be trading to?
Yes. So there's a lot to dissect here. I think we know it's fair to say the first 2 picks are going to be quarterback in Chicago and Washington. New England is they're going back and forth on it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're going to take a quarterback. That's my gut. Maybe they trade out. But I think Arizona, like, you could pencil in right now, I think. Actually, in ink. I'll go in ink. The Vikings are going to move up with Arizona for a quarterback. They have the 2 first-round picks. They're gaining a ton of assets. It's like what the Bills did in 2018, and then they end up trading up on draft day for Josh Allen. They made a trade earlier before the draft where they got they jumped up a little bit, and then they jumped up again. I think J.J. McCarthy to the Vikings at 4 feels like such a lock. But then from there, the Chargers probably go Marvin Harrison Jr., I would assume. Giants, I think, they probably want a quarterback, but they get screwed out of it, so they take Malik Neighbors. And then it gets interesting from there. I think for the Jets, if you want to trade back, it's not going to be like a team coveting a quarterback, I think it might be a team coveting one of the first defenders who could come off the board, like teams jockeying for position for the number one corner. Like Indy is one that jumps out there. Maybe
Philly, 22.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have to go further
far.
back. That's
Yeah.
part of the scary thing.
That's pretty far. I don't know how comfy cozy I am with dropping back to 22, but like if they could go, I don't know, Jacksonville at 17, I think is where, like, anything beyond that is where it starts to get a little bit iffy for me. But in that, we'll call it 11 to 17 range, I think is the sweet spot to fall back to. What that team is moving up for is the question. And it's not an easy answer because you'd love to go, oh, well, they're moving up for a quarterback. I don't think any team is going to do that. So maybe like the first corner off the board.
Greamy, what about you? What do you think of the players that could go in front of the Jets, how the quarterback sort of situation plays out in front of us and even behind us for teams that might be looking to come up, and how that could impact our draft?
Well, let me say this. I agree with Matt. I think that the trade will be to 4 for Minnesota. That'll give Arizona.
I just want to say, I did say that first, by the way.
Well, all right.
Well, you're right. Well, that is definitely. Yeah.
But I'm going to just say I agree with Matt and his assessment that they're going to trade up to 4. I think he was the original, so I'm going to go with that. So I think that gives Arizona 11, 23, and 27 in the first round this year. It's a good year to do that. They can retool in a major way. And so I think that's the move. And they'll probably get something else thrown in, maybe, because of the premium, trading up, they'll have to throw in a third or some other shit like that too. So I think that's the way you're going to see it. I agree that the first 2 picks are going to be quarterbacks. New England's weird.
I could see the Giants moving up to New England. The Daboll Patriots connection, I think, is interesting to me, because then they can still get a top weapon.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that the trade, the Patriots slide back a little bit. But I think that they're going to have to be wooed in order to do it. I think taking a quarterback at 3 just makes too much sense for them. They just traded away Mac Jones, so they got, they're sitting there with nothing. I mean, so it's hard to see.
Counterpoint.
What's that?
Counterpoint. I just want to throw at you, and it could be totally irrelevant. They watched the Jets turn down the massive trade that the Dolphins did take. Could Jared Mayo be thinking, hey, if I could get a haul similar to that, like the Vikings or the Giants, and they did lose Trent Brown, so they could be looking for a left tackle. Maybe they're trying to fall back to 6 in front of the Titans, take Joe Alt or something along those lines.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I can see them sliding back. But again, I just think, like you said, it's going to have to be something that really makes them move, because they don't have a real quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think, it's hard to start your tenure. Although if they're just going to do it the other way, a lot of us say that, build the team before you bring the quarterback in. That is a realistic tactic to take. It's like, why bring a kid? There's nothing here. Why throw him to the wolves and potentially damage him and all that kind of. So maybe they're going to go that way. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I do think that we're going to see the Chargers take. I mean, look, they just got rid of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They're going to take a weapon, in my opinion, because they still got Herbert. So they're not going to want him to go into the season with nothing. Marvin Harrison sitting there is too sweet. Giants are interesting. I think it's a quarterback or neighbors as well. Tennessee, I still think, is a tackle. Atlanta's defense. Chicago, I think, is going to be a tackle.
I could see defense for them. I could see weapon for them. They're such a wild card for me right in front of us.
Yeah.
I feel like them and us could be like the same pick almost.
But you look at the strength, right? It can very easily be a weapon as well. But I just right, like, you look at the strength of the draft, right? Like, the opportunity that this draft presents. And so if the Tennessee Titans take Alt, you're left with Fashanu or Fuaga, if that's who whoever they're like. These are any one of these guys in one of the in any other draft, I think, could be considered the top tackle among. So I just think it's a good opportunity to do that. Not to shit on Odunze or, it all depends on what they're seeing, but I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting, man. And the Jets sliding back, because if 4 quarterbacks go, it's going to have to be a defensive player. I was talking about that a couple weeks ago. Like, don't forget the value of edge. Like, coming up at that point with no defensive players taken, you're getting the top defensive player in the entire draft, arguably, unless Atlanta takes one. But like, you could, and then that doesn't even mean that the guy you have rated number 1 isn't still on the board. You know what I mean? So if they take, an edge rusher, you could still be looking at Verse as like, that's the guy we want anyway. Like the same thing with Stingley and Sauce Gardner or whoever, you know what I mean? So I think it's a real opportunity. It's still a position of value. And I could very easily see a team wanting to jump up and, to make sure that they get that guy that they need on the defensive line. So I don't know. It's going to be real interesting. I'm hoping that the Jets slide back a little bit, recoup something that could potentially get us into the second. Even if it's not a second, you get the extra third, you package that with a fourth, that kind of a thing. I'd love to have the opportunity to get into the second and still get, somebody. I don't want to go back to the 20s if we can avoid it. You know what I mean? But it's going to be really funny to see where this is. I hope we're sitting there at 10 and everybody's yelling Bowers, and not that I don't want Bowers. It's just because I want to see everybody score. I'm so annoyed with the craziness around Bowers that I just want to see torture. You know what I mean? I don't care if we take him eventually, but I want to see a trade back and everybody go, come on! That's what I want to see. Ryan, is that bad?
No, I'm in the same boat. It's very funny to watch the fan base just be so polarized one way or the other. And I think the pick is going to be Bowers. Now I hope Odunze is there. Odunze would be my pick at 10 if he falls. And you see he's hanging out with Garrett Wilson. Wilson was commenting on Odunze when he declared for the draft. So there's, they're kind of talking back and forth. I would love to see them paired together. Mike Williams not being ready for the start of the season has me leaning that wide receiver route anyway. So very, very interesting dynamics that could come into play with that 10 pick. Hype comes in, says, with the re-signing of Jalen, our D-line is pretty set without Clowney. I think JFM stays outside. If he doesn't come, still no O-line free agents from Jets signed. So he's talking about Becton still hasn't signed. McGovern still hasn't signed. I'm of the opinion, I think McGovern is coming back after the draft, and I think Bakhtiari will come in after the draft. So that's why I'm a little less concerned with offensive linemen, but I think it does hinge on what happens in the draft, right? Like who knows, if Alt's there at 10 and they're like, okay, cool, we're going to take Alt, that changes things. Or if they trade down and certain players aren't available, I think that changes some stuff too. When he says Jalen on our D-line, who am I missing here?
The Jets re-signed Jalen Holmes. You don't remember Jalen Holmes? He played like 70 snaps this year. I'm saying that. I hope you know I'm saying that. Yes, that is not a serious thing. I don't think bringing Jalen Holmes back should stop. Who's an interior defensive lineman, by the way, should stop. From signing Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney, he is what he is, right? He's going to go to a 1-year deal and try to cash in all that stuff. But if you look at it, like he's kind of what the Islanders. Geez, I got hockey on the brain tonight. Sorry, guys. Kind of what the Jets would need in an early down, good run defending edge who could also provide you 70+ pressures and nine sacks. I think it would be. I think it'd be a good ad, and Jalen Holmes could be very nice depth. I don't know if I'm betting the mortgage that he's making the 53. He very well could be a practice squad body.
Yeah, Clowney's run defense would be an upgrade from Huff in a sense. Like you downgrade in the sense of pass rush ability, but you're hoping that pass rush is kind of taken up by Will McDonald anyway. So with a lesser contract, if you're talking Clowney for like $6 to $9 million or something along those lines, I think it's a home run signing. And then, I think that rounds out at least the defensive line. But who knows? We've been adding defensive linemen like crazy, so maybe we got 10 more in the hopper waiting for that to come. Greeby, what are your thoughts on Clowney?
I think Clowney, I think the main, and I talked about this week as well, like people are talking to me about, well, look, when you look at the Panthers, who is the other team showing interest in him, The Jets can
hometown team.
easily, but it's the Ravens. Did you see the comment from Harbaugh recently
It's those
about
three,
when he
right?
ran in? Well, he ran into his agent and to Clowney's agent, and Clowney's agent told him that this was the first year that at the end of the year Clowney was actually happy.
Interesting.
So yeah, and then Clowney's comments were that this was the first year he didn't feel undue pressure. He played loose. He had fun, and he got to the championship game. It's like that's he's having some fun. So. If the Ravens so the example that I gave was so if the Jets offer him, let's just say $8 million. Jets offer him $8 million, and the Ravens offer him 6.8. He already knows what he's getting there, and no matter the sheen, no matter the luster of the Jets in any given offseason, the bottom falls out every year.
Ravens lost 3 of their 5 O-linemen though. That's got to be something.
It doesn't matter, dude. The Ravens are competitive every single year. So and he already knows he likes the team, he likes the locker room, he had a good experience. So would he be willing to take less to go there and bird in the hand, so to speak? It's like it's the guaranteed experience that he's already had. So I think the Ravens are he's waiting to see if the Ravens are going to make a viable push for him. That's the way I see it. Now I saw a stat earlier today, he never really signs by now anyway, so if you look at his last bunch of free agent periods, he doesn't sign in March anyway.
He hasn't had as good of a season as he's had now. Like the last season he had was probably one of his better seasons he's had.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. And I would, but to say how I feel about him being on the Jets, I think he's the perfect player to join our defensive line rotation. I think it's perfect. Jalen Holmes, by the way, had a whopping 5 tackles combined last year, 3 of which were solo. So I wouldn't say we're set. I think, like Matt said, he's probably practice squad-ish. You know what I mean? Like somebody training camp, that kind of thing. So, adding Clowney, I think, would be a smart move. It'd be great, but as long as – because I didn't want them to keep adding defensive players at the behest of offensive players, right? Like the first it seemed like we were just going defense, It's like these guys, they just can't seem to shake that urge to just sign defensive guys. But they've done a good job, injuries aside, with the offensive side of the ball this free agent period. So I'm totally fine with Clowney being the next guy. Truth is, I want it to happen. I want to bring Clowney on.
So I see Green Bean timed out Jeremy in the chat. That guy, Jeremy, is up.
Screw him.
What do you do?
I don't know. It says, oh, no. Yeah, it says Jets Chaos was timed out by Green Bean, Jets fan, for 300 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Green Bean
Do it
dropped
again,
the
dude.
ban hammer on our boy Jeremy.
I'll do it again. I know he's texting me right now. He's like,
don't tempt me. Sneakers to Boots comes in with a super chat. Thank you, brother. It says, is it just me, or does the name Brock Bowers sound like an all-time bust? Likely would be if the Jets take him. Plus, he will be coached by a Hackett who had the most punchable face forgetting Brees existed. Yeah, the whole conversation about Bowers is fascinating to me because does Hackett understand how to use the tight end? And then the argument is like, well, Aaron Rodgers is the de facto offensive coordinator, so it's not going to matter. But then you have the argument of like, okay, well, does Aaron Rodgers utilize the tight end? It's like, well, not really. He had, Jimmy Graham for a stretch of time. Jimmy Graham had 10 touchdowns before he got to the Packers, had 5 touchdowns over the course of 2 years with Aaron Rodgers, and then left the Packers, for those of you that think he's washed, had 8 touchdowns with the Bears. So, he was totally fine in that respect. So he doesn't utilize the tight end. But then you argue the big slot, and Lazard was supposed to be that big slot, and is that where Bowers could potentially play? And don't necessarily think about him as a tight end, think about him as a weapon, a wide receiver. And we'll get into some of the rule changes because I do think it does impact this potential selection to some degree. But yeah, it's super polarizing because do you trust? I don't trust Hackett to know, how to utilize a weapon like Bowers. It would just be getting a luxury pick. And then saying oh, I'm not going to put it in sport mode. I'm going to put it in valet mode and drive around all the time. That's what it would feel like this offense would be. Green Bean, your thoughts?
Well, I think when you talk about the Jimmy Graham thing, don't forget Aaron Rodgers had somebody else on the team that he was utilizing to a pretty
Well, we have
successful.
Garrett Wilson. We would be utilizing like that. Like that's a
So,
similar
well,
comparison.
yeah, so the whole argument, number one, I think the one offensive coach I do like on our staff happens to be the tight end coach. So there's that. And maybe, he could do a really good job, kind of folding him into the fray, so to speak. I don't think Hackett knows how to do anything, dude. I mean, that's the honest truth. I think that when Aaron Rodgers went down, he was utterly lost. And we saw it. We watched every game. Stories came out later, of course, with all the articles. All they did was say what we were saying all year. This offense looks lost. And now it didn't help that the quarterback, play was atrocious and the offensive line was riddled with injuries. That didn't help. But the fact that Hackett came out and said that he didn't realize until the Giants game that Breece Hall could be used in the passing game. Like, number one, it's so stupid to not realize that. Number two, though, and even more importantly, you're dumb enough to say that in the podium in front of the New York media. Something's fucking wrong with you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, so whether
I like
or not,
Hackett too, like the person, by the way. Like I
Yeah, dude,
thoroughly
he's the
enjoy
coolest.
him. It's just
I told
the coordinating part that's
when
sort
I
of like
went
I'd love
to
to have a
camp
beer with him.
that day, well, remember, Ryan, when I went to camp and I got to hang out, Hackett was incredibly fun to be around. Truly. Like, his energy is it's a notch above most everybody else. Like, Joe Doug was like, "Hi, how you doing?" and Saleh and everybody, and he was like, "Hey, man!" Like, he's just this really, really cool, fun guy. I don't dislike the man, right? Dude, but we have Aaron Rodgers. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to utilize the weapons that are there. If Garrett Wilson is open, he's going to hit Garrett Wilson. That's who he's going to be looking for. And, we add Mike Williams if he's healthy and he's there and he's open and he's open deep, he knows he's going to catch it. He's going to throw it to him. He's going to trust him. If Bowers is the guy, if Conklin's the guy, whoever is, I think Aaron Rodgers, just give him weapons. I don't care if it's Odunze. I don't care if it's Bowers. I don't care if it's Malik Washington, or Ricky Pearsall, or if they're open, Aaron Rodgers throws it to you and you catch it, he's going to find you. And if it gets spread out disproportionately to Garrett Wilson, I have no issue with that. I don't give a shit. If Garrett Wilson has 2,000 yards and Mike Williams has 100, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit about that stuff. I would like to see G-Dubs and Breece Hall kind of, get their due, props, so to speak, for 1990s term. Anyway, I just think get Aaron Rodgers legitimate weapons that he can trust, however it goes, it goes. If Brock Bowers opens it up or Odunze, for that matter, opens it up for Garrett Wilson, I'm fine with that too.
Peter S. comes in, says, trade down, get more picks. Certainly one more between pick 111 and 134 because the fourth round has lots of solid talent. Malik Washington, Cooper Beebe, Jordan Travis, etc. Yeah, I like the middle rounds of this draft. And if we can get a second round pick, that's really what I would love to get. But I'm cool with trading down to the Broncos if they want to come up and get, if Bo Nix is their guy or Penix is their guy and they feel like they have to come up just a little bit to beat the Raiders. I'm cool sliding down a little bit. If you want to take a weapon there or if you want to take an offensive lineman there, gravy. I'm cool with getting some additional picks for sure. Hype comes in, says, Bowers coming to the Jets, coached by Middleton, is a go. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even think about the tight ends coach, and I really like Middleton. So
best.
Who knows? I'd be down with that. The small health court jester says, Michael Pratt in the fourth round. What do you guys think? Matt, I'll let that go over to you because you've been liking the Michael Pratt train, I think, the most of anyone that I've talked to.
I have. I'm
or for
in
the
on
longest, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, and look, in all honesty, it's a dart throw, pick out of a hat between Michael Pratt, Jordan Travis, Spencer Rattler. To me, I said online, I put those three in the same tier, and I got called a bumbling fool for.
You
for
are
that.
a fool. How dare you?
I agree with you. I agree with Matt on this one because they're all ish the same kind of dart throw. Like, you want to say a few percentage points higher or lower, it doesn't matter. We're having Aaron Rodgers for the next 2 years.
Right. It's pick for what? They're all probably going between the third and fifth round. You latch on to whatever trait you like from a quarterback and hope that takes into the next step. But for Michael Pratt, supposedly he had a good pro day. We know you can't put too much stock into these pro days, but what I like about him is how he utilizes his legs. He doesn't You know how kind of like Zach, when the pressure comes, he bails on the pocket and runs backwards. Like
Mhm.
Pratt will step up and kind of like maneuver, stepping up and going forward to the line of scrimmage rather than bailing. So I do like that. He doesn't have the strongest of arms, so I wouldn't expect to see him like pushing it down the field. But someone who could come in, use their legs a little bit, hit the easy stuff. I mean, we've seen a lot worse. And for what, you know, a 4th round pick that probably, I mean, you would love for him to hit and be a starter, but like most realistic best case scenario is a high end backup spot starter for you.
Yeah, like let's say you're talking about like, you know, 4th round, you're getting like that 𝐒𝐿𝐼 type of level player. If you could take a, you know, if there's a, I don't know, a 10% chance that the pick works out at any other position, or a 3 or 5% chance that the quarterback works out, I think it's worth the gamble in the 4th round for sure. And if you got a backup for the next 4 years, you need a backup anyway. So I think that's a fine roll of the dice. Let's hop over to the rule changes. These are some of the rules that were not reinstated. They're actually put into effect. And I want to go through them one by one, and we can kind of talk it out, think of what the repercussions of each one could potentially be. The first one, by Detroit, to protect a club's ability to challenge a 3rd ruling following one successful challenge. This is something that I have thought since I was a kid, that this is like, should be a thing. Like if you get one challenge right, why should you be penalized because the refs made a mistake? You should get that 3rd challenge regardless. So I love this rule. Matt, your thoughts on this particular rule?
I love it as well. And I think it's going to allow coaches to be more aggressive early on in games, because we see a lot of times coaches just hug on to their challenge and be like, it's the first quarter. It's the first possession. I can't use my challenge. What if I get it wrong? Then I only have one challenge the rest of the game. But if you have another shot to get your 3rd challenge, I think you'll take some more chances. And, you know, I think it's absolutely worth it. As you said, it makes too much sense not to have something like this. You shouldn't be penalized for the referees getting something wrong. You should be rewarded for it.
I'm going to see if I can highlight our little things we're talking about. Greeny, what are your thoughts on the successful challenge?
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I mean, I don't have much more to add on it. I think it's, I would like to, because there are times that you can tell they would throw it. You know what I mean? I would like to see them. I approve of the rule. I think it's good.
All right, so let's go down to this one. We're kind of hopping all. It looks like we're hopping all over the place, and I don't know why they numbered it the way they did. I guess it's bylaws and rule summaries and things like that is a little different. But we'll go down one sheet, then we'll go down the next sheet. So this one, by the competition committee, to allow the enforcement of a major foul by the offense prior to a change of possession in a situation where there are fouls by both teams. So I believe, if I'm understanding this correctly, it eliminates the offsetting penalties. Like if I don't know, would a holding penalty be enough to do it, or would it have to be a 15-yard variety? It kind of eliminates the offsetting penalties potentially. Is that my understanding of it, Matt, or Greenbean, whoever wants to take the lead on this particular one?
Go ahead, Matt.
I'm reading it again. To allow for an enforcement of a major foul by the offense prior to a change of possession in a situation where there are fouls by both teams.
It reads
that was the
like
I was trying to read that at work yesterday to like a group of guys, and they're like, "You're gonna have to read that again." I was like, "Dude, I'm looking at it. I've read it 10 times. I'm not entirely sure what it means." It's throwing me for a loop.
Here's what I will say though. If it takes away the idea that so somebody gets an egregious face mask, they rip the guy's helmet off, and then at the same time there was a 5-yard infraction. I don't think that the 5-yard. I've always felt this way. I don't think that the 5 yards should negate an egregious penalty like that.
It should almost be a net, like a give it 10 yards or whatever, like
something, right? Yeah, I would. Yeah, right. Like let's go do something like that. But now let me ask you something. How do you spell the word offense? Not offense, but offense.
C instead of an S.
Is that right?
I don't know. I thought it was spelled the same. I would have spelled it.
Hold on. Yeah, that's what I think. So that's the thing. I'm trying to see if that word makes more sense.
Spell it's like read and red. Someone tell us how to do it. Offense. Yeah, see? Offense.
Oh, no,
there's a C.
It is with a C.
British.
I'm see.
The
I feel
British
smarter
version
now.
has a C, but our version is an S.
Oh, which is
So
interesting for
think
the UK. When we start getting more teams over there, that could throw things off.
we could fucking ruin everything in this damn scene. Let's read it like that. So, to allow for an enforcement of a major foul by the offense.
No offense. You're
Prior
wrong.
to the change. Yeah, I don't know.
No.
It doesn't make sense to me, dude. Why do they talk like this? Who are these?
I don't know. Can we skip? I don't know this one.
We'll skip this rule. That's a dumb rule, silly rule. Okay, next one. To include a ruling of a passer down by contact or out of bounds before throwing a pass as reviewable. Love it. 100%. If you can get the call correct via replay, friggin' do it. 100%. I like accuracy. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think again, get it right. Take any
right.
steps to get it right. That's fair.
Green Bean, what about you?
Get it right.
Love it. All right. Next one. To allow a replay review when there is clear and obvious visual evidence that the game clock expired before any snap. So this isn't the play clock. It's like end of quarter clock is my understanding, or maybe a 2-minute warning, something like that, where the time has, although expired before any snap. Would you consider game clock to be the play clock or game clock to be the timing?
Game clock is the game clock.
Right? Yeah, but expired before any.
This is an issue?
I don't know. I mean, I like it. No, it's not necessarily that it's an issue, but I guess it wasn't reviewable before. Now it's reviewable.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Get it right.
Yep. This was the big one that well, not just the big one. One of the biggest ones. To eliminate potentially dangerous tackling technique. This is the hip drop tackle that people are fired up about. I don't like it. I think it creates a few interesting scenarios, though, because the NFL was complaining about the amount of points scored this year and last year and how it dropped from 2 years ago of being almost 50 points a game down to, I believe it's 43 points a game from this past year. And I sent out a tweet that said the Jets officially apologized for dragging this average down, both from our offense and from our defense stopping everyone from scoring points. So it's a two-way kind of good, bad sort of situation. But to eliminate the hip drop tackle, which means the smaller defensive backs, smaller corners, falling on the back of the legs of a running back, of a tight end, something like that, which means the tight end position or big running backs like Derrick Henry. Who's going to tackle Derrick Henry now? And let alone like a stronger safety or a stronger corner is going to be elevated a little bit more, or even a faster linebacker, because you're going to have to see more linebackers because you're going to have to try and counteract these running backs, these tight ends to try and tackle them. And that, I think, is going to lead to more explosive plays because you're going to have somewhat slower players on the field that could allow the offenses to kind of expand. So I think it's going to create more points. I think it's going to create higher emphasis on the tight end position. I think it's going to create higher emphasis on, maybe a bigger running back to some degree, which then I think sort of lends some credit to the idea of maybe enticing you to select Brock Bowers at the top of this draft. He was number 1 in forced missed tackles, and now this rule comes around. You can't tell me it's not something special, potentially. Now, I get the positional value and all that good stuff, but like it definitely at least gives you a little bit more of like interesting. Is this where the game is starting to gear itself towards? We already saw tight ends being a major part of the offense with Mark Andrews and Kittle and Laporta and Kelsey being the final 4 tight ends in the playoffs. It's interesting, but I don't like the rule. That's just how I think it's going to impact it. I think it's playing flag football, honestly. Green Bean, I'll throw this one to you first. Your thoughts?
You know what? So you ask how they're going to tackle Derrick Henry. You know what I would do? My first thought was, all right,
kneecaps, baby.
My first, it's like there are going to be a lot of ankles and knees at risk because I'm telling you, that's exactly what I would be aiming for. You want to play around, man. I'm going to destroy because I got to tackle. And I think your point though about the Jets, dude, bringing the point total average down, I think that's a very, very realistic assessment. We did not help. I'll tell you that. How about that? How about just, take the Jets out of it and then see what it looks like. But
and the one Broncos Miami game, the 70-point game as well, an outlier.
Yeah. But you know what, man? It's changed, number one, so I don't traditionally like it right out of the gate, so there's that. But I just don't see it as a big Like somebody put in the chat, I saw it a second ago. There were 270 hip tackles last year, right? Or hip drop tackles out of the 27,000 tackles. So it's 1%. So then why the big deal? You know what I mean? Like, why do
the
we
star
have
players
to
got hurt? Mark Andrews got hurt. Tyreek Hill got knocked out of a game in an important spot. That's why. It's the star power.
Yeah.
It's the same way they changed the rules after Brady went down.
I know. And to me, it just seems like this is it's like slowly but surely, dude. I mean, they said it clearly, like, we want points. So they put the defense, God forbid the defense figures out how to stop an offense. It's like they just need to continually take things away from the defense. I mean, a tackle is a tackle, dude. Don't grab the guy by his face mask anywhere near his neck, the horse collar, hit him in the head. I'm with all that sort of stuff. But can we just play football, dude? They're getting paid millions of dollars. If they, they're putting themselves out there, it's a contact sport. We root for it because it's physical. The NFL used to put out full video series of the biggest hits and all that kind of shit. Like, it's built on this. And I don't like it. And maybe I'm old and I'm a dying breed. I don't know. I'll accept that too. But I think it's a bunch of pansy-ass pussies, just looking at things through money. And it bothers the living hell out of me. That said, I'm with you. My favorite position is going to feast, that being tight ends. So, hey, let's roll. Let's start. Let's do more 13 personnel and start beating people up then. Fine.
So Hawk says that would be 230 more flags on the season. That's another thing to bring into. This is another way for the refs to impact the outcomes of games. And I don't love that. I like it being determined on the field. Injuries are a part of the game. It's always going to be a part of the game. You try to minimize it as best you can. We'll get into it with like the kickoff and everything like that. But Matt, what are your thoughts on the hip drop tackle ban?
Yeah, I like Green Bean. I don't like it. I am all for, like, if they want to take out the headshots, yes. Don't hit players in the head. Don't launch yourself into heads. I would rather them if they came out with a rule where you can't like tackle someone by the knee or below. Fine. If you want to go above the knee to below to the,
it's like the strike zone, right? Like
a little, pretty much,
lower,
yeah.
But
Yeah. Essentially, though, like, I don't know. I don't think the hip drop is the biggest of concerns. Diving at people's ACLs and launching at someone's head, giving them CTE, that's a problem. And like, I'm not saying ignore it and go back to the way how things were. No, you're allowed to make changes and try to make the game safer, but this is a step that I don't think accomplishes that goal. And like, how could you say, and I'm gonna go pivot slightly, but it's something that they added as well, not a rule, but how could you say you care about player safety and then you implement this hip drop rule, but then you put out today that you're going to play a game on Christmas, which is on a Wednesday? So someone's playing with it, right?
Doubleheader,
right? You have teams playing on a ultra. It's bad enough they play on Thursday. Now 4 teams, right? Because it's 2 games, are going to have to play on a Wednesday because they want to make money by playing them on Christmas. It's so hypocritical and so stupid. It drives me absolutely nuts.
I want to see the second bye week in the worst way. You add a second bye week, it stretches the NFL season out by 1 additional week, which means non-Jet fans are watching 2 weeks of non-Jet football, spreading the NFL, thing around. You're getting more in touch with other teams and other players and getting more invested in other teams. I would love to see a second bye. I want to see better quality of football. I think on top of the injury thing, I just think you get shit quality play when you have a short week of rest. And you're probably going to see teams, if they have to play on Christmas, they're probably going to play on the Saturday before because college football is done at that point. So you're still going to have it's the same amount of rest, I think, it is, right, going from Sunday to Thursday versus Saturday to Wednesday. But maybe I'm a Grinch. I don't really want to see it. I don't really want to see it on Christmas. One, because I don't really want to be in front of a TV, but I understand why they're, doing it. It's frustrating. I don't like that. Let's move on to the next rule. This was a big one for the kickoff, and I'm excited to see what the chat has to say about it, what you guys have to say about it. For 1 year only, they're going to amend Rule 6 to create a new form of a free kick play that is designed to resemble the typical scrimmage play by aligning players on both teams closer together and restricting movement to reduce space and speed, promote more returns, permits the replay official automatically review whether a free kick legally touched the ground or a receiving team player in the landing zone. So I don't know if I understand the landing zone necessarily, but what I can tell you is I love this rule. I'm a big fan of this rule. It's going to look super goofy to start, and I don't like it from a visual aspect. And I would even say you might want to move the kicker back 10, 15 yards. Although I think, am I right in saying they changed the touchback to, would it be a 35-yard line at that point if it gets kicked into the back of the end zone? I thought I saw that somewhere. Don't quote me on that if I'm wrong. But either way, the ability to kick off, encourage the special teams to actually play. It creates 11 more players that are highly, highly specialized in a very important aspect of the game now, and it's going to create the excitement that we lost. It was just a procedural play that they would do at the beginning of games and to have an extra TV timeout. Okay, so no, 30-yard line is what they're saying. 30-yard line is where you wind up getting it. I like that. I'm a fan of that. I think it penalizes the kicking team for kicking it out of the back of the end zone. So you're going to be encouraged to see more big-time plays. We saw Cordero Patterson sign a 2-year contract with the Steelers today, just as soon as they make this rule a thing. And I think it's going to create, it might even expand rosters, or you might be looking for more depth players that are far more entrenched in special teams. Because imagine putting a Breece Hall back there, for instance, and now he's running, but it doesn't have the risk of the injury. Like maybe you see more star players as returners. Not that I'm advocating for Breece to be the returner by any means, but I'm just saying it's going to put far more emphasis on the special teams than we've seen in a long, long time. As goofy as it's going to look, I really, really like it. Matt, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of an adjustment period, right? Because it looks strange. And I'm not gonna lie, my initial reaction was more change, really. Like, I get a little old man yells at cloud that way. I don't like change, but this is one that I think is actually good, because like you said, it takes a play that was essentially a throwaway. The percentage of touchbacks was incredibly high, and this is going to bring returns back in a safer way. And that's football. I like that special teams are a part of the game. I think it's important to have good special teams, and the Jets having Brant Boyer, who is one of the better special teams coaches, as well as having two veteran, a kicker and a punter, I think that also plays into their advantage. I'm curious to see how teams decide who their returner is going to be. Like, is it going to be are the Jets going to just keep Xavier Gipson doing it? I'm sure they can, but the thought of Breece Hall back there returning in this new format is tantalizing. Now, I'm not saying I would do it because I don't want to risk the injury, but I compared it to Antonio Cromartie in that playoff game against the Colts having that big return. You're telling me in a big spot in the playoffs, if you need a big return to launch a drive, you can't put a guy like Breece Hall back there and have him field it and take it. So it's going to be exciting. I'm glad that the kickoffs are now back a part of football.
Green Bean, what about you? How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, this one I like. Because look, I would just prefer to have the old way. Right. Let me just say that. But the way we've seen it the past number of years has been garbage. Although teams started realizing last year, did you see how they started kicking it in the field to play for us because we were likely to fumble it? And then guess what
was that? Or they try to kick it higher to get the coverage team further down the field. If you can get it to land within the 5-yard line, that's kind of the sweet spot. And then you tackle them and you get them usually before the 20-yard line at that point.
Yeah, so I just think, by and large, we just watched onside kick after onside. I mean, not onside kick, a touchback after touchback. So it was like, this is a good. We saw it in the XFL, and it worked. It was fun. This is pretty much the same thing. It looks like. So I like it. I don't like that. I mean, there's the onside kick thing.
Yeah, I think that's part of. I don't know if that's a part of this rule or if it's another one, but we could go into that too. The onside kick, you have to declare that you're going to do it. You have to do it inside of 2 minutes, or maybe it's inside the fourth quarter, and you have to be trailing. Those were like the stipulations of it. And I wish they would just get rid of the onside kick, do a 4th and 15 at that point. I hate how low the percentage chance is of actually getting an onside kick. I think it went from something like 21% chance or 17% chance down to 1 or 2%. It's really low now ever since they shifted it where you can't overload one side. So Green Bean, can you talk a little bit more on the onside kick stuff and how you feel about that?
Yeah, well, I don't like that you have to declare. Like, I mean, I know what they're doing. It's like the onside kick, even though the percentage was low, was exciting as hell, and we've seen it change games. And I don't like, again, it's just I just feel like it's just softening everything. And it's like, well, we don't want anybody to hit anybody. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't want anybody to be surprised. And what if they don't expect? I just don't like it. Again, maybe in a year I don't care. My initial feelings on it are that it's a mistake and that it's going to remove some of the potential that we have to kind of, for the team that's looking down and out to kind of to come back. And then there's also I loved, even though we didn't do it very much as Jets, I love like just kind of like opening the second half with an onside kick. You know what I mean? Like I like that kind of shit. Like just trying to surprise the other team, and that's going to be gone, it looks like. So
how does the squib kick work anymore? Like if everyone's lined up at like the 35-yard line or whatever, and you just whack the back of your player, zone. Like it has to landing zone on the other side of like those players, I guess, right? That's probably what that's referring to.
Maybe, yeah.
Green bean, is that one of those new draft hats that they accidentally leaked online? By the way, I love it.
Ooh. What was that?
Yeah, I'm saying you got a really nice Jets hat on, and I wanted to bring attention to the fact that Fanatics accidentally leaked the Jets' new logo on the website, and everyone got to see what the draft hat looks like, and I can't wait to get one.
But it's this.
It's that, but like the side emblem has the like the New York, New Jersey. It's got like a little bit of shading, like shadowing around it. I really like the Jets draft hat. I think it looks really good.
Let me look at it.
Right. I don't know. You have to find
like, it was black, right?
Charcoal, maybe.
Yeah, it's like
right. Yeah, all right.
But there's also green. There's actually green versions of it, or maybe the green one didn't leak, but the gray one did. But
I saw the gray one leak. I didn't see a green one, but it would make sense that they have that too. Big fella says, bring back jacked up era football. I agree. If we could do a YouTube channel with like the best jacked up each week, I feel like that would do really well. Maybe we'll add that to the Talkin' Jets arsenal of videos that come out each week.
It was fun. I missed that too, but unfortunately, football's not going to go back to the early 2000s.
WM says, Ryan, you never wear hats though. I wear hats all the time. I don't wear hats when I'm filming because of the shadow.
Shadow.
Like look at this. It doesn't look
rough.
Good. Like I'm a big hat guy. I got a whole closet full of hats. I got the pilot hat too.
Yeah, the beanie's hot, so that's why
I like the beanie. Yeah, you're probably cooking.
I can't do this to you guys. I mean, I don't think. What do I look like?
You look like Shay's hair when I take the little rubber bands out of her hair and it just sticks up. She had like little devil horns today because she had pigtails.
Oh, yeah,
that was funny.
So I don't know if I could do that to you guys. I could do this. This is the other thing you can do, right? You can go like that. That hat doesn't wear well back. Maybe it does. Let me see. I don't like backwards with the hole, so I got to go. If I'm going to do backwards,
the other one you just put on was backwards with the hole too.
I got to do this.
He hit his roadcaster. You hit the applause.
I did?
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize then to
That's funny.
Absolutely nobody.
Matt, did we get your thoughts on the onside kick? I'm like,
yes, we did. I am a big fan of the kick. Oh, the onside kick. Yes. No, not the onside kick part. I apologize. I'm kind of in on them going for the 4th and like 20 kind of thing. I think the Eagles suggested that because I'm with you. There's how they have it set up now. I don't think is really it gives teams much of a chance to actually recover it.
And the thought process behind the 4th and 15 or 4th and 20 play is that the team, if you don't get it, the other team takes over, which would be exactly what happens in an onside kick. You don't get it, they get it from that spot. But it's also the percentage of achieving a 4th and 15 or a 4th and 20 is similar to the percentage that the old onside kick used to be recovered by. So that's why that goes into play. It's the same idea with the way they move the extra point back from, kicking from the 2-yard line to kicking from the 25-yard line or whatever it is now, where the percentage of making a field goal became lower to the point where it became enticing to go for the 2 points after a touchdown. So it creates a more dynamic scoring atmosphere, which I think all of us have really liked, the kick getting pushed back and creating some interesting scoring dynamics that could go on. Let's shift over to this other side right here. And what is this one? This one is clubs with an unlimited number to provide clubs with an unlimited number of designated for return transactions in the postseason. I love that. If good players can come back and play in the most important games of the NFL calendar season, I think they should be able to. I don't think you should, once you like IR someone, I don't think they should, be kicked off the team for the entire year. I think you're doing a disservice to the fans at that point. So I know it's not an IR thing, but like designated to return, I think is important for sure. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that a lot too. It makes sense, because then you get to like, oh, if you don't activate them by this point, they can't come back at all. But I kind of like the idea of being able to activate someone if they're healthy enough to play in the playoffs to come back. I think that's the right move.
Green Bean, what about you? What do you think about having players designated to return in the postseason?
No, I'm right there with you. I think they should extend the roster. I think they should expand the roster. I mean, I'm all about this kind of stuff. This is right up my alley, this rule.
I'd like to see them go to 60 players. I think that would be cool. I mean, obviously increase the salary cap, proportionally. I had a big argument with someone the other day that we were arguing back and forth about how how Shaq Barrett was going to come to the New York Jets, but I think it was him. But the taxes played a difference, and he decided to go down to Miami instead. And like, I think it's as easy as just saying the salary cap is calculated after state taxes. I feel like that would be like the be all end all, like, okay, competitive fairness. Now everyone has the same salary cap. I feel like the finger on the scale of the non-income tax states puts a disadvantage or a competitive disadvantage to all the other teams in any other state, particularly high tax states like, New York, New Jersey, that sort of stuff.
Us.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want an even shot. Like, we're already being kicked while we're down. Yeah, just make it even. It's okay.
Right.
All right. Pittsburgh suggested to move the trade deadline back to the Tuesday after week 9. So it moves back 1 week. I love this. I would have moved it back further, honestly. If you look at all the major sports, they're all sitting somewhere around the 75% of their season is when the trade deadline is, or like, I think it's 65 to 75% for a lot of the teams. The NFL, by comparison, I think it was 50%, right? Or it was less than 50% with a 17-game schedule. And in 18 weeks, and it was after week 8. So you're talking probably 43% of the schedule. It doesn't make any sense. Allow these players that are on good teams that, are stuck. They're stuck on a bad team that can't make the playoffs, and there's good teams that want them, that would help those bad teams out and give them assets to try and make a push for their playoff run. Make it Thanksgiving. I would make it like way closer to the playoffs. Yeah, I would absolutely love to see teams go all in, and bad teams like us benefit from being able to unload a Bryce Huff later in the season when we know we're eliminated. Like, that would be really attractive for me. I think 1 week is nice. They should have gone further. Green Bean, your thoughts?
Exactly. I think they should have pushed it further, but 1 week is still 1 week. So they're at least thinking the right way. Maybe they want to see how it looks. Our bunch of old billionaires, they can't quite get there yet. But yeah, I mean, it's exactly for the reasons you stated. I mean, it makes sense, that, once you kind of are confirmed that you're out, and maybe you'd be willing to make some moves and stuff like that. So, I think it would be better, but hey, I'll take a week. I think it's an improvement.
Matt, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's an improvement. I think I would have did week 10, to be honest with you. I think that's the one that I would have chosen, but I'm good with them moving it back because it was too early. Teams don't really know at that point if they're going to be in it or out of it at that point. So I'm all for moving it back.
All right. So next one, to permit each club to place a maximum of 2 players who are placed on an applicable reserve list on the business day of the final roster reduction to be designated for return. Such players will immediately count as 2 of the club's total designations. So that one was another one I don't necessarily fully understand. If they're talking about final cutdown day in August or beginning of September, is that what they're talking about here? to place 2 players on a reserve list. So it's almost like, hey, you get 53 plus 2. Is that my understanding of it, or am I like reading this wrong, Matt?
I wish you went to Green Bean first because
Nope, I don't know anything about this. I can't even fucking understand what you know. I'm old.
So real quick, Rivka from Jet X Factor comes in and says the trade deadline is early specifically because the NFL doesn't want tanking. I would endorse a 3-team lottery at the top of the draft as well. If you want to move it back and you're worried about teams tanking, eliminate the ability to get the number 1 overall pick and just make it a lottery for the worst 3 teams in the league. I think that would be an interesting way to do it. But that's an interesting comment.
Who cares?
Well, I think if you want to eliminate tanking, the lottery aspect of it does take a little bit.
So why is tanking bad? Tell me.
I have another take on tanking.
Tell me. I mean, I'll listen. I don't tank.
I think
the NFL wants points. The NFL doesn't.
Well, they want money. They want attendance. There's people that bought tickets in advance. My season tickets are going to be devalued because the Jets stink and we're going to officially tank. I'm pro tank when you're bad. I think it's worth it to get a higher draft pick. But if that's exciting. Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, there's players that want to hit incentives. So now all of a sudden there's contractually like, okay, we're going to make it so these guys aren't going to get the money they want because we want to get more salary cap space for next year, which they kind of do in the final week of the season anyway. They bench certain guys. Russell Wilson got benched because he didn't want him to get hurt. So there is some of that already. But sorry, go on, Green Bean.
No, I'm with all that. But it's like, from my perspective as a fan, like, and we know because we've been there, I had more fun. Probably the most fun I've had in the last 5 or 6 years was when we were tanking for the number 1 pick. I rooted for losses with the same vigor that I rooted for wins that year. That was a very interesting year. I don't do it every year, but that year it was clear. And, it was like, I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, I understand why the NFL would want it because of money. Like you said, they don't want to, like, how many times have we seen it? We've seen it with the Jets, right? Like, so they schedule us for a primetime game and it's a team that's tanking. So interest is going to be low. I understand, but it's like, I don't know, man. To me, I just think they should, I think the NFL is being ruined by this DraftKings and all this focus on the dollars. Like, it makes plenty of money. And I get it.
But that's how the salary cap goes up. The players want this too.
Let the teams run the organization the way that they want to. If they want to tank, then they tank, and they want to sell their tickets to the opposing team's fans in the same way that when I would go to New Jersey Nets games back in whenever, and Michael Jordan was in town, it was 99% Bills fans. I'm sorry, Bulls fans. Then let it be. Let it be that. You know what I mean? Who cares, man? But they're trying to control everything. It's like a lot of this stuff, adding the ability for refs to call more penalties. Like, I don't like any of that shit, man. And I for one, I've been watching the NFL a long time, and I can see a marked decrease in the enjoyment of the game since I've been watching it. It used to be a brutal game. If you got hurt, you got hurt. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You're on the field. Granted, they didn't get paid a lot of money back in the day. They get paid fine. It's a choice to be out there. Again, like we talked about earlier, the head stuff and pulling guys by the face mask and the horse collar absolutely makes perfect sense. There's the human being, the neck, the head, right? But it's like, I don't know. I just see more ways that the refs can impact the game. I just see like prohibiting teams from doing certain things that they want to do for the betterment of the organization because money supersedes. I just don't like it, man. And maybe I'm just a sourpuss. I will totally embrace that if that's what I am. That's my viewpoint. I think it's all a bunch of horse shit, and I don't like it, man. So this one bothers me.
Gator says, new rule, you can't have the number 1 pick in back-to-back years, and if you suck that bad, you have to move to another state. So Carolina traded up for the number 1 pick and then earned the number 1 pick, but lost it to the Bears. What does that mean? Are they moving to a different Carolina now?
If that was the Jets,
we would have moved.
It would be. But could you imagine, number one, how bad that sucks for the Panthers fans, right? Yeah, I mean, that's just the worst thing. And then the fact that the guy you traded up for looks like he might just struggle forever, right? I mean,
and
hey, who knows?
The guy your coaches wanted, the owner superseded them, and you lost the player that wound up getting offensive rookie of the year. Oh, it's such a kick in
But
the
if
pants.
it was the Jets, the exact scenario, the Jets traded up to get a quarterback who's 5'10" and is struggling. All the pictures of him being a little baby next to all the offensive line and all that shit came out. And then we lose enough to get the number 1 pick, but we gave it to the Bears in a strong class. They would be the biggest story in the NFL throughout the offseason. We would be getting beaten and made fun of on a daily basis. The Panthers, it's no big deal.
Yeah, we don't care. Matt, I want to hear your take on the tanking side of things. I know you had some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I don't. Tanking exists only in theory by fans is my take on it. I think general managers will position themselves better for the future, but tanking, like, I don't think anyone's going, and I'm not saying that this is what you guys are saying, but no one's going into games saying, I want to lose this football game today. The players are going to play to win. The coaches are going to play to win. I think, the tanking is something that fans get behind and they want to see because it'll get them a better draft pick. But I don't think it really, there's too much pride in the sport for the ones who actually are controlling the outcomes of these games. So I don't view tanking as a problem. Was more the moral of the story. Let it be whatever happens.
I was going to say GM's fielding a very young, inexperienced team with the guise of, hey, we're going to just get playing time. Like, you can't tell me the Jaguars didn't tank by pulling Gardner Minshew out of the game the minute the Jets beat the Rams. Like, that, they immediately decided, we're just going to see what this other guy has in him, even though Gardner Minshew's clearly the better quarterback here. Like, that was an active tank if there was ever an active tank. Green Bean, I'm sorry if I stepped on your toes there.
Well, right. So it's not that I agree with what Matt said. Players and coaches, it's going to be real hard to tell Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, hey, listen, just kind of half-ass it out there. They're not going to do that, right? But like we saw it when we beat the Rams in 2000, whatever the hell that was now, 20, 21, whatever.
2020 with the 21 draft.
2020, right, yeah. When they got the number 1 pick, just like you said, they pulled. They said, that's it. We're not playing anybody that can give us a chance to win. And that's the smart move. There were, I think, 2 games left at that point, maybe 3. And they just said, nope, we got the number 1 pick. The Jets had it all year, dude. And we blew it. And the Jaguars realized the commodity that they now held. And they decided to do the right thing and tank for the betterment of their organization. The players didn't tank. The organization definitely tanked. And I applauded it from an aggravated stance. I applauded. I said, now that is the way to do it. What we did, we won the game and we all cheered and high-fived like it was some beautiful thing. It was terrible.
I got on Jacksonville radio. I was so distraught. They were like, this poor bastard up in New Jersey is distraught. His team fucking beat the Rams. And then the next week, the Jaguars win and the Jets are back in it and we beat the Browns. And we're like, oh, son of a bitch. It's like one week after another. We both have 2 wins and they beat us in the tiebreaker. Ugh.
I was so envious. I was right there, but I couldn't believe it. It felt like we lost. Again, being melodramatic to a degree, but it felt like we lost the Super Bowl or like we got knocked out of the playoffs. Like, that's how it felt.
Dude, remember when we blew that last play against the Raiders? I was running around with my arms out. Like, we lost. We saved the tank. Like, that felt like we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
We fired poor Greg Williams and poor Lamar Jackson, the little undrafted free agent rookie cornerback that we had. We stuck him on an island against Russ. It was just like, sorry that it had to be in your face, man. But dude, we cheered like we won the Super Bowl. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
So now I'm confused. I'm almost positive the Jaguars have 1 win. Oh, they did have 1 win. Shit. They won the first game of the season, so they didn't win at all.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I know we had the extra win the week after that. Damn. Shit sucks. Thank you, Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
All right.
And all the Zacksters, remember they said, no, this is good because we got the real best quarterback in the draft.
Oh, Chris Sims, you can kick rocks.
No.
So done with you and your damn rankings. Let's go on here. Let's okay. Competition committee to expand the standard elevation rules to permit teams to elevate a bona fide quarterback an unlimited number of times from its practice squad to its active roster to be its emergency quarterback. Now, are you able to protect a player continuously the entire time? Like, could we draft a Michael Pratt, put him on the practice squad, protect him all season long, and have him be quarterback 3? Because that, if you can do that, I like that a lot.
Wait,
I don't think so.
I thought you were only able to protect like 2 players like a handful of times. I think that was a rule at one point. I see Billy in there. He says the Commanders win had Ryan wanting to burn his green crayons. Dude, I was so mad. That win pissed me off more than anything. I'm fine with the Patriots win because we won versus the Commanders and it was like less important at that point. Although it would be nice to have the number 6 pick or 5 pick or whatever we would have had. But man, that was the Commanders win. I was salty. I don't generally see subscribers go down, but I was so angry and so livid. I think I lost 4 subscribers from that video.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you can protect every week. You can choose 4 players to protect on the practice squad, but this is to elevate a bona fide quarterback. So that's like not like Reggie
Zach.
Cobb being your.
Yeah, can't be a Randall Cobb or like
hey, don't try to trick us with this Zach Wilson.
You're not bona fide.
Put Rivka's comment on the screen, the one that she just put in at the bottom. I think she's getting.
Boom. No, you can't protect a player on the practice squad. There definitely was though for a little bit.
You can.
Maybe
You
that
can
was the
protect
COVID year or something?
You'll see another comment. You'll see another comment come in.
Yeah, you can. You can protect 4 a week.
There
I forget
it is.
the
Okay.
dynamics of it. You have to designate.
No,
them
it
at a certain
doesn't. The rule
time.
simply says that the emergency quarterback can be a player from the practice squad who is elevated to the active roster for the game, not just a 53-man quarterback. So yeah, I guess I get the quarterback thing. I would like to see you be able to protect that quarterback though. Like if you're gonna make it so you can have more players on the roster, I'd like to see that quarterback not get poached. I guess the argument is that you have more good players on active rosters if they can get poached, but and I guess if you're going back to your practice squad quarterback, it's probably not like it's probably not a great situation for you either way.
Yeah. Well, but talking about your third quarterback, so you still got 2 ahead of him.
Well, yeah, you have your starter and your backup. That's Rodgers and Tyrod.
Yeah, but so in our instance last year, so we had Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle, so we can elevate a third quarterback to the active list to be its emergency third quarterback. So if you have an injury and that third quarterback becomes your second quarterback, it doesn't have any relevance. It's about your third quarterback.
So Tigo texted me. Tigo says you would have to cut Pratt, then have him clear waivers for you to be able to do that with Pratt. So maybe it's not. Rivka also says, I believe during the COVID year, you could protect a couple of practice squad guys. You can't protect them. You can simply elevate up to 3 players to your active roster each week. Okay, so that's where my confusion comes in.
That's where it is. Okay, so you can do a quarterback unlimited number of times as opposed to the regular limits. Okay, fine. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
I'm enjoying reading some of these comments.
The competition committee just felt this was very important.
This is important here.
Somebody give me the practical application. I mean, where has this? What's the inspiration?
I guess would it be the 49ers? They lost a bunch of quarterbacks in the playoffs.
I guess so. Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. I was trying to think of the times that came up when we had McCaffrey running around playing quarterback.
Yeah. Force of Phil says, all right. The Commanders win. Ryan, your initial reaction scared me. It was, Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared moment. Dude, I was so livid. That was Christmas Eve. And just blew my stack. Had to... and then I had to go be happy downstairs. It's like, you ruined my damn Christmas Eve, damn Jets. All right, let's go on to the next rule here. Approved resolution summary by Buffalo to make the injury reporting rules for players who do not travel with their clubs for games away from their home city competitively fairer. Now, I don't know what the rule was, but did they have to declare prior to leaving? Is that what they're trying to say? And they want to not declare until like closer to the game? Rivka, if you want to throw in some comment in there, I'd love a little clarification.
To make
So it's
the injury reporting rules for players who do not travel with their clubs to games away from their home city competitively fairer.
that tells me that like maybe because they had to leave on a Friday for a Sunday game or something like that, that maybe they had to declare earlier than another team might have to, and that there's some competitive. I like that if that's what it is. She goes, I have no idea, unfortunately.
Yeah, get with it, Rivka, for God's sakes.
Way to go, you and your knowledge. We got to get her on sometime. She's super knowledgeable.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, I can see it though, because teams, there were a few scenarios last year where there were reports that teams weren't reporting their injured players, and then there was the one with what's the Chiefs receiver traded from the Giants? What the hell's his name again? I'm just
Tony.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney. He said, I'm not even injured, and they have me on the injury. Remember? So there's like some shenanigans going on there. So I'm all about the teams being able to prepare properly for who they're going to play. Remember a couple years ago when Matt Rule, like the day before the game, changed everybody's numbers? Remember?
Oh, yeah. I loved it. I thought that was great. It was just before week 1. That's what it was like. We're putting like a 0, like we're changing the linebacker number. We're going to confuse the rookie quarterback.
Numbers.
That was 4D chess. Love it. Yeah, I didn't like it against us, but
I know.
Absolutely it is. That's a great move. It's a great decision for a rookie quarterback week 1. Love it.
It's a little bush league. No. It's a little bush.
Oh, it's 100% bush league. I love it. If we played the Patriots and we could have done that, I'd be cackling.
And let me tell you a secret. That's why Matt Rule's not a fucking coach in the NFL, because he plays pussy ball.
I think trading for Sam Darnold's what did it.
Fucking men and beat them. That's the way to do it. Changing numbers before the game. Fucking asshole. And that's why he's not a coach in the NFL.
Clearly not, because he stunk. He's terrible.
That's it. Because that was his focus, doing shit like that. How about you get your men ready for the game, beat the guy in front of you, disguise your alignments, and play the game, not try to trick. And then it's the same. It's not the same, but it falls in that same category with like hiding people on the injury report so the team can't plan for you. It's maybe this is all trauma from the Mud Bowl. Just fucking cover the field and let's play football. Damn it. You know what I mean?
Imagine if someone changed uniforms Imagine if they changed uniform, like CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams. They're like, hey, let's switch pads and jerseys for the second half. Let's like screw with people. How long would it take people to be like, wait a second, that's not who that's supposed to be? Now, you probably have to do it with a different player, but have me giggling. All right, final rule or thing by Jacksonville expands the 2023 preseason trial of providing a specific Hawkeye feed in the coaches' booths for the 2024 preseason with full implementation for the 2025 season. I don't know if I remember the Hawkeye. I don't think I understand what that is. Do either of you guys know?
Hawkeye feed. What's the Hawkeye?
You're watching
feed?
Marvel movies in the fucking coach's booth now?
What are we talking about?
The Hawkeye feed.
Yeah, what's a Hawkeye feed?
I don't know what the hell is going on. Hawkeye feed.
Overhead camera angle is what Dylan's saying. Yeah. But isn't that's the sky cam, right? Or is it? I mean, it's different. It's got to be different than the sky cam.
What's the Hawkeye feed? I never heard of that. I heard of the sky cam gate.
Someone Google it. Tell us. What is it?
Like the eye in the sky.
It says
NFL Hawkeye to enhance
NFL uses video feeds from the NFL's broadcast partners to give NFL replay officials multiple time synchronized angles of the same play.
Oh, we totally should have that.
Wait, Jacksonville expands the 2023 preseason trial of providing. So we're going to have partners now.
Well, Rivka says, which is what I think you're saying, Green Bean, is they stitch together the timing. So that way when you're looking at like the end zone, like the pylon cam, but maybe you can't see it, but there's an overhead maybe. of seeing it. They can see like, okay, the ball crosses here and it's synchronized with the sideways view to be able to see it. Maybe that's kind of what they're getting at.
Yeah, Hawkeye's like a company. Hawkeye Innovations.
I was gonna say they're capitalized, so I guess that makes sense. It's obviously a thing.
Visual tracking aids for tennis. That's where it started. Help quickly determine whether balls in or out of bounds. The company won't be doing some of this, providing league with camera systems that will offer additional angles. So it's expanding the angles. I think that's good, right? More angles, the better. I'm tired of these guys when they're trying to show us if something happened, then they only have 2 angles. Like, sorry, we can't tell you.
There should be chips inside every friggin' football, each tip and then like each outer edge, and you should be able to not have to measure with these fucking chain links coming out and the guy in the stripes and the all right, let's put it down and
chain links.
Oh, well, the camera angle slightly skewed. I hate it. It's so dumb. I like the chain gang. It's nice. It's like an umpire. Get the fucking pitch right. Tell me it's a strike if it's a strike. We don't need all these. Oh, I think it's there. No. We can fix it. We have the technology. We are humans. We have evolved to such a point where we know, like, everything.
Why have men?
Chip the ball.
Why not
See?
just
That's what
have
Rivka's
robots? Why? It's so stupid. People's knees break down.
We can get the call right, Green Bean. We have the opportunity to get the call right. Let's get the call right. Right? Like, I want to see the players play on the field. I don't want the refs to take advantage of it.
I don't want chips in the damn football. I don't want chips in
Tostitos. It'll be the Tostitos first down fucking chip bowl. That's what it's gonna be. Or Doritos. Sponsored, baby. Heinz Red Zone.
Chips. No, Tostitos, right? That part of it's very nifty. I like what you did. But as far as the chips, dude, do you know that right now there's a conspiracy theory about chips already I'm just saying. And
let's go.
I don't agree, but the whole thing is that the NFL can manipulate the ball with chips to make things go certain ways and all kinds of shit like that, right?
Oh, dude, I know that the friggin' refs are sitting there with a pocket full of Doritos, just like, all right, here we go. We're gonna rub the ball now. Boom, fumble.
Because you can have corresponding chips in the top of the end zone. You can have them on the pylons. You can have all sorts of things going on. So listen, do you want to talk about rigging the game? Add more chips. Add more computers to it. Take away the guys with the chains. Dude, the chains need to stay. I don't know
symbolic.
What we're
I like having a home plate umpire, but the strike box should be standard. It should be like, oh, this guy's doing it. The inside's always a ball. I hate that. I just want it standardized.
Yeah. Green Bean, how do you feel about them taking away the guy who set up the pins at the bowling alley for those machines?
That's not the same, and you know it. I appreciate the deep dig.
There's chips in the bowling ball.
I appreciate it.
They're blocking things.
Why is that a fucking? Is there a computer chip in the ball, Matt?
No, it's in the rack that comes down. What if the rack comes down and doesn't put all the pins back? They're like, we're going to slightly skew it.
Laser out from where the marker is.
Listen to me.
Not where in the ball.
I'm not. Now, if they put chips in the pins and the ball,
they put weights in the bottom and little magnets in the floor, and they're like,
and there's
nope,
magnets.
Sorry.
Is that what we're? That's the comparison. That's the comparison.
What type of chip would you want in a football if you had to have one chip? Doritos. One chip. Is it Doritos? Is it Frito?
If I had to have
barbecue.
If I was going, I think the king of chips remains the Doritos nacho cheese. Although Cool Ranch is right there. Every other chip, while delightful, Pringles, barbecue, Lay's. I love hers. I love Oots or Utz.
What's your favorite dip chip though? Because there's a difference. Oh, dude, the Frito scoop dips, the structural integrity of a Frito scoop chip can really dig into buffalo chicken like dip or like a really hearty dip, where like the Tostitos scoop dip is like crunch. Oh, great, now I got 2 little chips that I can't scoop anything with, and I got to use 2 chips to like mush it together to get into my fucking mouth.
Here's my problem with dips. Okay, not that I won't dip. All right, I love a queso dip at a Mexican restaurant, all that shit. I love guacamole, all that. But here's my problem with dips. I feel like the dip becomes the primary, and it's just a big vat of glutinous, gross. We don't even know what's in those shits. and it
Buffalo
becomes
chicken.
so you get like
You
a
make it yourself.
Like vegetables have changed. Everything's just a vehicle to scoop. Just
you can have your
boatloads of
veggies by
lard
scooping it in
into
stuff
our
that's unhealthy.
faces.
I love it.
I'm just
The
saying.
dip
that's my
is the
problem.
main course. The chip is the side piece.
No.
See,
I would rather eat a bag of Doritos than the dip. That's just
Two
me.
different
I think
experiences.
The dip
I was
is
gonna
on the chip.
I think a good chip, like a good steak, doesn't need any dressing up. Like you don't need the
Sure.
dip. There's a difference.
Completely
There's a
agree. I fucking hate Fritos. I wouldn't eat a Frito plain to
Well,
save my
Fritos
life.
suck. Yeah,
They're
that's fine.
terrible.
Fritos
But
are
Frito
garbage.
scoops as a dipping chip, totally different. Because I'm on the same page with you. I like Doritos.
Yeah.
I'm a big.
Why don't you just get a spoon, dude? Just get a spoon.
I like
Fucking eat
eating my
yourself all the
utensils.
dip
I don't
you
like
want.
cleaning stuff. Plastic, save the environment, dude. Eat your
But I'm
dip.
just saying, if the
Eat your
dip is
utensil.
what you want to eat, then go eat your damn dip. That's what
I am, and I'm
saying.
eating it with chips, and it's delicious.
Matt, when you look, if I'm drinking Jack Daniels or Jim Beam, I throw some Coke in it. Now, granted, I don't drink, but when I did, I drank a lot of it.
Oh,
When I drank Glenlivet, or if I was
Mm.
drinking, a single malt,
Good scotch.
it was ice
and
cube.
both
Neat.
One ice
and-
cube.
One ice cube.
that is totally both are acceptable ways of consuming. Like I have nothing against great comparison. Jack Daniels and Coke is like apple pie in the 4th of July. It's just
is. It's
that's how
delightful.
it's how it's meant to be.
Yeah,
But you're
it's
not
wonderful.
you're not mixing like exactly. You're not mixing some Blanton's and Coke. You gotta use your brain a little bit. That you
Sure.
sip on. You sip on either neat. I'll allow a big rock in there. Sure, completely different experiences and both good experiences. One is not better than the other. There's a time and place for both.
But
I-
that's the point. But that's that very well said, Matt. But that's the point. So when you're talking about a Dorito is the single malt scotch of chips. I would not dare stick my Dorito in a disgusting vat of French onion
Neither would
horse
I.
shit dip.
No shit. No way. No, Doritos are not a dipping chip at all. Fritos are terrible taste and are absolutely a dipping chip. You
Why
need.
don't you just go get some Doritos and have yourself?
I do.
don't treat
I
me.
have both.
Ryan,
I
why
put
are we
Doritos
buying
out next to the
Fritos?
bowl with the dip with the Fritos next to it. Like I'm on board with Doritos. This isn't the French fry argument. And I see. Look, Sean 𝐒𝐿 comes in and says we need a GPS to find the original topic. Welcome to day 3 of the
This is
NFL draft,
original
my friend.
topic.
We were talking about chips.
You don't
Day
eat
3 of the
chip?
NFL
You
draft,
don't eat
baby.
chip?
Shit gets weird. Day 3, I think, is my favorite day because we're slap happy.
Feels very much like this.
Oh, the topics that come up. And we have so many guests that come on, too. It's great. If you guys have not hung out with us for a draft party, you guys are in for a damn treat
Yeah.
with dip.
Yeah, I won't put. Look, again, I'm not a hard liner. I know I present. It's not to say that if there's because infrared Kai said I wouldn't.
The power of ice.
Get the fuck out of here! You're an asshole.
I'll
Ryan's an asshole.
unfreeze him.
unfreeze. I just wanted to trigger you and get the reaction. Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you for that.
I was yelling what I just wrote in the chat. Everybody, that's what I was doing back there in my frozen zone.
Oh, geez.
Anyway, the chain guys stay. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm really saying here.
Dylan says, how's your stream going to work when you...
go out to start it too?
Yeah, right.
What's that?
You crank the car to get it going in the morning?
Let me tell
No,
you.
Yabba
let me
Dabba
tell
Doos
you-
it with those big feet of his.
Let me tell you honestly what's going on over here at the Green Bean Combine. I am actively looking for a car right now, a truck, really. I'm going to put farm use on it and everything, but I'm going to get one that's pre-computers
You
for
want
that exact
off-road
reason.
diesel?
I don't want it. Well, no, not D because it's too expensive. But the thing
Off-road's not.
is what I want. Like when the car breaks down, I want to go in and be able to fix it. I don't want to have to call Ryan.
Dude, that's why I haven't gotten rid of my WRX because if I buy another car, I'm not getting another stick shift. Like, I love driving a manual car. It's a 2011 right now. I've got it tuned up the wazoo, and like if I get rid of it, I'm gonna have like a push, like I won't be able to like play with the gears. I love driving stick.
Yeah, I mean, like I want it because like, look, my car, it's all computered out and everything, but like I brought it in for a headlight. I shit you not. I changed headlights. When my headlight went out, I changed the bulbs. My car, I got to take the entire console. I got to take the
Oh,
whole
dude,
fucking
it
thing
sucks.
off.
Dude, I had
And then
an
get in there
Eclipse
and
back when I was in high school. To change a headlight, I need to take the front bumper off, the quarter panel off, the
Yeah,
under the
it's
wheel wells.
ridiculous.
This is stupid. This is dumb.
And then you got to tweak the computer. They're like, did you tap into the computer? I'm like, for a fucking light bulb?
Dude,
You know,
to
but-
change Becca's car is a Mazda CX-5, and it's to change the level of the beam of light coming out of the headlights. In my car, it's a little dial, and I just dial it back a little bit, and the beams go down. But in her car, you got to like take shit apart and then like go in and twist something with a little screwdriver. I was like, that is stupid.
I've never had a car. I've never had a car I can adjust the beams. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Really?
But see,
Yeah,
this is what
most
I'm
cars
saying,
have that.
Owen.
The beams shoot straight out, and you can elevate it based on where. So, like people that like lift cars, you're supposed to aim it down.
Yeah, well, I never did that. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. But this is what I'm trying to talk about. Your whole diatribe about your car is exactly what I'm talking about with the chips and the balls and the chain gang. Thank you for making my point for me. See that, Matt?
Matt comes
See what I
in and
did?
says, "Hot take: AVT is all pro if he plays a full season." Thoughts?
What is this? What is this? Jets?
Sure.
What
Yeah, what the hell? We're talking about chips and old thing. That's all right. Coming in with an actual comment here. Yeah, I don't know. I sure. Yeah, I agree. I think if he plays a full season and Breece Hall goes 2,000 yards, like I think he's going to do, I think AVT can have an all-pro season. There'll be all eyes on Jets. We're going to have a ton of standalone games. I think we get a London game and all that stuff. Yeah, I think there'll be enough eyes on AVT. If he plays the full season, he'll wind up an all-pro.
It's going to be great because, look, and we've talked about this, like the concern of whether tackle or guard is, but I think the moving him around is a legitimate concern. So I like the idea that wherever he is, it looks like right guard, but like you brought up, we don't know if Morgan Moses with $5.5 million is just a swing. You know what I mean? A backup, right? Really, because he only really plays right. But we don't know. But let's just say he's going to be guard, and we keep him there. I think that the idea of getting him to a full season increases. So that'll be nice. I mean, having AVT for a full season would change everything, man. You know, would change everything. Him and Tippmann, and man, that would be great to have our line for almost a whole year together. Wouldn't that be something?
So I'm going to go back to Matt's comment in 1 second, but Rivka says Salah confirmed AVT will be playing right guard. He did confirm that, but he said for right now, I believe, was we have him at right guard. So I think maybe there's some degree of moving it around potential, but I do think he stays at right guard. It makes the most sense. Green Bean, you have to pronounce Matt's last name. Matt knows why.
All right.
You're gonna
Well, of course, you're the one
clearly-
that sent the comment, Matt. Oh, you mean O'Leary. Gotcha.
No, no, no.
So
he meant
Matt
me.
knows.
I know.
Matt knows the real pronunciation, right? I'm gonna say what phonetically it looks like Zizelman.
I would say Zeiselman. That's
I
long.
was gonna say maybe it's Zeiselman, but I would say Zizelman, even though the E's there.
I believe I pronounced it as Ryan did, and I was wrong.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Zizelman, because the E is the L, not the backing, not the creating the long vowel. That's what I would say. Am I right?
I
Mr.
like
Matt?
that. I can
Green
see
Bean's
that.
closer to it. I think Green Bean's closer. I don't want to give a definite yes or no and it be wrong. So I'm gonna need Matt's confirmation in the chat, but I'm fairly positive that Green Bean is closer than Ryan and I were with our attempts.
Sawyer says, I missed the Tostitos commercials with Joe Flacco. I don't remember the Tostitos commercials with Flacco.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what happened.
What happened?
Oh, Green Bean's correct.
Fuck yeah, I am.
Yeah. He was right.
As per usual.
I can pronounce your name. If you can correctly pronounce Swami, wow, that's a wild name. Satchidananda. Sakadanda? Is it like not a ch sound? It's a k sound? Satchidanda.
Satchidanda?
Wow.
Satch.
Dude, that's got to be brutal to write out consistently. I apologize. That's a long name.
It's a great name though.
Oh, it's a great name.
Well, it's like,
Dude,
you know,
the elementary school
I
teachers probably hated you growing up.
used to
Saskatchewan.
study a guy, Paramahamsa Yogananda. So this is right in that Swami Satchidananda. Maybe
I used to
we're wrong, but
love
that's what it looks
saying,
like.
Do you know what the longest word, or it used to be the longest word in the world is, or in the English language? Do you know what that word is?
Supercalifragilistic.
Yeah,
But I think I'm pretty sure it's pneumono-ultramicroscopic 𝐒𝐮𝐫𝐞𝐚𝐫𝐲, and it's a term for when you get volcanic ash in your mouth. It's like a wild, yeah. I learned that like
that's just
Ryan knows that, Matt.
Dude, locked away. I got some trivial stuff in here.
You could have given me a million guesses. I would not have come up with. It's the term for when you get ash in your mouth from an erupted volcano.
Pneumono-ultramicroscopic 𝐒𝐮𝐫𝐞𝐚𝐫𝐲.
See, now, the guy that made that
inflammation. ISIS. It's like the ending of it. We're at 10 o'clock, by the way, just so we know.
But listen,
Matt, can you head over to last week's video while Green Bean responds?
Yeah, the guy that made that up instead of calling it Ashmouth is the same guy that's changing the fucking rules in the NFL.
He wants the fucking chips in the ball too.
Is your chip guy?
You've got fucking tinfoil peeking out of the sides of your hat right there, Green Bean.
Dude, listen, let me just share this with you. Call me what you will. Most of the conspiracy theories that 10 years ago everybody was calling people tinfoil hats, they're all true. And we all know chemtrails. Now it's weather modification. Remember they told us it wasn't real?
What? I can't wait to go down a rabbit hole tonight. Dude, I love conspiracy theories. Green Bean and I go off on conspiracy theories occasionally, and it's awesome. It's so much fun.
There are actually states banning weather modification in their state. So just 5 years ago, people wore tinfoil hats for talking about it. Now, it's just weather modification. We're just dimming the sun to keep the earth cool. I'm telling you, man.
See, now I gotta look it up. I gotta go down that rabbit hole. The whole pyramids being a power plant thing blew my mind.
It's very real.
I love it. Real. I love it. I believe it.
That's my real area of expertise. Don't get me started.
Green Bean and I, after stream, sometimes we go off on tangents. Oh, see, David D's one of us, Green Bean. Check it out. Check out the Wi-Fi.
Dude, I'm all over the Wi-Fi.
I love the Wi-Fi.
Conspiracy
fish. Hecklefish is incredible.
Yeah, he's the best.
It's amazing.
So you're telling me that they really did that? I can't do it.
Oh, it's so good. He's such he's such a raunchy fish, and it's amazing. We need a hecklefish here. Green Bean, you could be our hecklefish.
There you go.
Hecklefish 2028. I love it. Okay. So Tigo's like, I'm in on the conspiracy stuff. Our group chat's gonna get wild now. I can't wait.
Yeah,
we should have Aaron Rodgers on talk conspiracy theories. That would be great. Like, hey, private chat. Let's go. Yeah.
The Earth is round, everybody. I'm gonna tell you. All right.
But imagine if it wasn't. What could be on the other hollow moon theory is that's a fun one too.
I love that. That's
a great one.
There's all kinds of shit on the moon.
You
ever want to look at the moon stuff? Look at his last name is Lear. He's the I think he's dead now, but he was like the heir of the Lear jet family.
Interesting.
And he talks. He went on and on about what's really going on the moon. If you want to go down a moon rabbit hole, or look on YouTube and look at the documentary Moon Rising. It's a good one.
I like seeing
let's do this thing.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, tangents. Damn.
Yeah.
There's we got a lot of timestamps from last week's episode.
How many are there? And then maybe we pick like a portion of them or something if it's too many.
Okay, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
Moon Rising, Mitt Flair.
There's some repeats. All right, so maybe it's not as much as I thought because we have some repeats in here. So we'll just do one from these people. All right. Let me know when you're ready, Bean.
I'm ready.
Eric Craig.
Hey.
Pure imagination. Patrick Sullivan.
Sully.
Ryan's favorite. James Falls.
I hope he's okay. Every week.
Stud City.
Yeah.
Hey.
The Gag. Greg Gagne.
Look.
And
Freedom House Freedom House says his favorite conspiracy theory is the hollow head theory. That's great.
That's really fun.
That's so good, dude.
Oh, I understand it. It's okay. We all can't be smart.
Yeah.
Did you get Donkersloot in there? That was the last one after Gagne.
Donkersloot? No, yeah, I got it. All right.
Okay.
God, that name always gets me.
The best. All right, that gives us 25.
25. All right. Random number generator says number 11. Who we got as number 11?
Oh, 11. Hype.
Hype.
Yeah.
Yo. Hype had a really good mock draft last night on the call-in show. I really appreciated it. I was on board with his mock draft.
Okay.
Really good.
Oh,
Hype, reach out. TalkinJetShow@gmail.com or JetsTalk247@gmail.com. We'll get you whatever this is about to be. Spin wheel.
You almost got a jersey last week.
Yeah. Pillow. You can win one of the, or you got one. Bam.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Pillow. I want you to know my daughter comes into here and she sees Green Bean and goes, ho, ho, every time she sees this pillow. It's amazing.
So good. Ho, ho.
She recently, so the couple across the street from us has like a big wooden Santa that they put out in front of their house. And she would go over to the window and go, ho, ho, consistently. And for whatever reason, now in the middle of March, she's decided like, where is ho, ho? He's not there anymore. We had to explain he's back at the North Pole. He's got to wait.
You gotta wait.
That's
see him in a few months.
Yeah. So Hype, reach out. We'll send you a pillow. All right. We've reached the end of our show. Any more closing thoughts, Green Bean?
I don't know, man. Yeah, tomorrow night, right here, Talking Jets, Tigo and I, Armchair GM, 8:00 p.m. It'll be a good time. So come hang with us.
O'Leary, anything you got working on?
Yeah, we'll be on with the great Jeremy on Thursday afternoon. We'll be discussing, I'm sure, a lot of draft things as we are transitioning a little bit away from free agency and into the NFL draft. And thankfully, no one has very strong opinions on it, and they're very willing to talk and hear all sides of the argument for each thing. So usually the show goes very well.
Oh, I can't wait. I love sitting in the chat with you guys. It's just like an extension of what this show is. Boys and girls, draft party. 3 weeks left to buy your ticket. So if you're interested in coming with us to the main event, night one of the NFL draft, we're there to get all sorts of excited, upset, angry, cry a little bit with the selections that happen in the first round of the NFL draft. Really excited. Last day to buy, April 16th. We'll pin it in the comment section down below. After that, and I don't know, you Renor. I don't understand that. I don't get it. Carpetbagger. What does that mean?
What?
It says you Renoir.
Renoir.
Renoir. What does it mean?
I don't know. Let's see.
Thanks. I don't know. Help us out here. Good, oh, au revoir. That's what he's trying to say. Damn autocorrect.
Oh, right. You forgot the A. We would have got it. We would have got it.
Thank you, Carpetbagger.
Oh, jeez. I would have had it. We love you, Carpetbagger. Oh, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, guys. We will be back here 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock next Tuesday to yell at conspiracy theories and draft picks and all these fun things. Come join us. Hang out with us. We love you being here. This is Talkin' Jets signing off. JETS.
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it is that people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does it a different way with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze run.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.